West. What an incredible week for the metals. Gold through all-time highs. Silver. Oh my goodness, what a rally in silver. So, we've got a bit to digest here. Let's just jump in and see what we can see. So this is where we left gold last week, and I was kind of right, but not really. So, you know, the shape of what I was looking for kind of eventuated just in a much bigger scale. And then, of course, this uh, turned out to be, much more like that. So, what's happened here, really? I mean, I would sort of look at this now and go, okay, well, my Elliott case, probably wasn't right, and that's why I don't lean too hard into this. I'll just remove it for now. But we did get a marker in here. Maybe we were looking at this sort of, we broke through, we tested the top, came back and held this, and then boom, off we've gone again. So look, we are on an hourly here. All right, so let's just clean some of this up. So the only thing really we've got going for us now is, just shooting for the pitchfork, okay, for the center line of the pitchfork. Now we got this pitchfork from this retracement, okay, so we're back out here on the daily. So from this retracement down into the pocket, and then we've come up here and hit the measured move target on the daily. So I think you just look at it in this regard now. But this is really, really hot. This has been it's an incredible week for gold, and even more so for silver. So the only thing that's keeping me alert here and just wary is the way that we're just starting to diverge. So even though we've had some very good candles up through this run, there is definitely a lack of down candles. Okay, they're just at some stage this is going to have to pause. This can't go on. Well, look, maybe it can. Maybe it can keep going. I mean, I sort of think that $3,000 is will happen. I don't know when, of course, but I think that the market, it's like a magnet. It's going to just get to that round number. I don't think it can get this close and not get there eventually. The question becomes, it's not going to do that. Is it going to, chop, 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 make you think maybe so, maybe not, and then eventually just one day it's there. We don't know what sort of path price will take, but I'm definitely wary of that. Now, if I was just going to quickly consider this in an Elliott case now, this is the thing. As price evolves and reveals its true path, you just adjust the counts to what you think. So, when I look at this, I'm thinking, okay, here's the rip, and then we've got the correction, and then we've got another rip. Okay, so I'm looking at this, all right, and just thinking, right, well, we've got an extended move after a 1-2. Okay, so that's now I'd be thinking, okay, well, and you could probably, you can subdivide this here 1, 2, maybe 3, 4, 5, and then I'd be going for an A, B, or a WXY or something like that, as it looks like an expanded flat. So an expanded flat to me, I'll just put that back on. The expanded flat to me would suggest, that there's the underlying strength in the market, and obviously that's persisted. So we can see just from how we have been doing it, just in terms of technique, that resistance became support numerous times before we broke away. So if I'm looking at this thinking, okay, well, is this a third wave? Can I detect some sort of exhaustion coming? The length of 1 off 2. Okay, so we've got highest probability area for wave 3. Okay, that's ideally where you'd like it to get to, and this is the second highest probability of a wave 3, which is in this pocket. So we're sort of pushing through that now. There's a tremendous amount of strength here. So breaking this trend, even though it is quite steep, the sellers got some work to do to convince the buyers they don't want anymore. All right, so I wouldn't be surprised to see it get up to here next week. But like I said, that divergence is just keeping me a little bit wary. All right. So in terms of pullbacks from this, if this was going to be wave 3, well, I'd be thinking about, I'd be waiting for this to top out and thinking, okay, well, what? Because the other thing we've got to do here too is try to subdivide this third wave to see if we've got 5 waves within the third wave. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Could that float? Yeah, I don't know if that's got a great shape. And this is the thing with Elliott. If it's not making a lot of sense, just put it aside. But what I would do here is I'm just tracking this. Okay, so this is just where you would expect wave 4 to come back. So wherever, if this was the high, if we started coming back here next week, this is the high probability area for wave 4. All right, and that would of course tie into this peak here, which, I don't know if that's momentous in itself, but let's have a look. Now, there's not a lot of measured moves in here because the pullbacks are very, very small. So we had an early one here. Okay, we can see it just came to the 61.8. But even coming off here, as you go through each pivot, you'll find that we got close a couple of times, but we never made it back to the 50% line. So you can find more if you just start going off other pivots. Like there's one there that went a little bit further. I think this here, yeah, well, we got a little line in there, but there's nothing definitive. I think that's what I'd say. There's no real definitive pattern there, so I don't know if there's a lot of supporting evidence. So that's why I would just lean on this for now. Okay. Obviously, there's also a possibility that we come back and back test the double top here at the old all-time high. That also holds potential, which would mean, of course, that is going to slip through that. But that being said, nothing says it has to stop in this area for wave 4. It could go a little bit further. So that'd be the kind of zone I'll be looking for next week, depending on whether or not this pushes any higher. Okay, so that's, like I said, I would just track. If this goes higher, this zone moves higher, that sort of thing. But that is the next point of call for me for gold. So here we are with silver. Unbelievable. What a rip. My ideas were sort of there, but sort of not really, which is fine. I'm comfortable with that. I think what we do now is, there's no point. There's not a lot of point in looking in the rear vision mirror. We knew that this was a good area of support, and this held, and then we had old resistance, the little resistance band here becoming very good support, pushed on. So it's done this sort of ranging a few times up through here, and then of course we had some tops through here, some, well, you could call that a range. There might even been a little Wyckoff in there, and bang. I mean, this Friday was unbelievable. What a breakout. So where do we go from here? I mean, I think it goes without saying that this is now incredibly hot. So even just looking, I'm just on a daily here, but even looking, so this was the last measurement, and here's the target that just sits up here just above $34, which it looks like we're going to tag sometime soon. So of course, then the next big play becomes, wherever this comes off. And this is the thing, right? Look where that just ties into the structure. But that remains to be seen. We are basically very close to now having free bars outside the Keltner. That is a big warning shot that we're getting too hot and that a correction may be imminent. Now, the correction, of course, does not necessarily mean down. It just might mean we go sideways for a little bit. I mean, that is an incredible bar. I mean, the 6%, 6.4% a day. That's holy hell. Now, as we go down through the time frames, all these are getting free bars outside that Keltner channel, okay? And obviously, the lower down the time frames we go, the more free. So there are warning shots there. That's what I would say, which goes without saying. This is just hotter than hell up here. But look, be aware that there's definitely more room to run. I mean, if you're talking about historical RSI peaks, we can still get up here to sort of 78. We're only at 69. So there's definitely potential for the market to put on more bars. Okay. Now it might just mean that the next down bar is just maybe just a little one like that. Okay, and then maybe that's Monday, and then on Tuesday we're like that. We're higher again. And we're marching on, and this RSI gets hotter and hotter until we get to the point where the number of up bars that we're getting is unsustainable. That's basically what it means when we get into these areas. And look, just because we ran hot here, we just came down here, right? We went through a bit more of a correction, but once we start getting above this sort of 70 level, you can just see, like, historically, that the market, it's just where it starts to struggle. I mean, even though up here we got hot, and this is sort of looking, and this is the thing, right? This is, I wouldn't say it's exactly the same, but we could experience something similar, maybe not to that same degree, but that the market, we could certainly get an extended run in silver like that. So that's a bit of an overview. I don't know what's going to happen next week. I mean, I think Let's go in close to have a look. Now, just quickly breaking this down into what could be a little bit of an area. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, maybe you can take the impulse to here. This pretty horrible wobbly correction here. This chop. The problem is now that, I mean, subdividing this might be difficult, but we've gone through. I mean, now that we're up here, I'm more inclined to think that we're headed for that. But I'm not suggesting that that's going to happen, because that could be 3 for all I know. It's just in between. Usually when you see it, well, not usually, but you see it through this area. The next point of call usually becomes that. That's beyond that measured move target that we're looking at on the big picture. So, ooh, yeah, I considering how quickly this has gone, I couldn't help but think that, that there is a correction in the offing here. That's just what if you're long, I'd be seriously tightening my stops up. That's just me. I just think that is just an incredible run up, and it'd make me very nervous being long. Oh, look, maybe we are going to $40 in silver. Okay, I'm not really sure about. I'm more sure about $3,000 in gold than $40 in silver, but maybe $3,000 in gold means $40 in silver. I think at this point you've got to look left. Okay, so let me just clean this up. I'm going to take this Elliott away. I'm going to take this retracement away. You've got to look left about where, what makes sense is the next area that could possibly support the market. And to me, it's just the old tops. All right. So we had, pardon me, let's grab the right tool. We had the breakout, the failed breakout, and this is where we sit. So I'm just looking at it going, okay, well, this is probably the zone I'm interested in to see if it can hold. Now, can I fashion something else off that makes sense? Well, this would be my first point of call, coming off this bottom, and the retracement level will be right down into that. Okay, so I'll just get rid of that red line. So, maybe that's more the case. Okay, so you could tighten that up. But that's what I would be thinking, that, I'm looking for the back test back to here. That'd be where I'd like to see it. It could be deeper. It could come off any one of these pivots, because it has been an incredible run. And maybe this is an extended fifth wave. All right. So maybe it's, maybe this is 1, 2, 3. Oh, that's probably too short. Yeah. Elliott wise, I think that's difficult, but this is just too hot. Okay. So this would be where I'd be looking at, right? So what are we talking? $33 down to $32.60. Now, I wouldn't be necessarily leaving bids there. I'd be watching to see how the market responds, because it could come down here. I mean, to me, that would be probably the better place to try to play from. Okay, so that is a bit lower down here, 32.20 to 31.90. That looks better to me. But I don't know if it's going to do that. It might only do this. It might just do that. But that looks like my point of call for silver for next week. So that's it. Good luck. See you next time. Bye.